There's something happening in the creative space right now that most people are talking about and a lot of us are aware of, but nobody is actually saying it and putting it straight. See, AI is changing fucking everything. And the creatives who are waiting on the sidelines, still trying to figure out what this all means, waiting for the dust to settle before they actually do anything, they're already gonna fall behind. Today, I want to talk to you about what is actually happening. I'm not gonna talk about all the hype around AI, and I'm not gonna talk about the internal fear that we all have. I'm just gonna talk about the authentic version of where we're at and what this means for creatives specifically. And I wanna talk about why this moment, I believe, is one of the biggest opportunities that creatives have had in a really long time. By the end of this video, you're gonna see exactly where you need to position yourself and why the work that we've been talking about in this series is actually more urgent than ever. My name is Lien. I'm a brand architect and I'm the founder of Magnetic Movement and Ignite Creative. I've spent over 10 years building brands specifically for creatives, founders, and operators while working across the globe in multiple countries. I've built a 6-figure marketing agency. I've had the opportunity to work on magnetic marketing teams for brands like Hydro Flask. And I've also traveled and built businesses while working in cafes and hostels all around the world. I've been able to go to 37 countries. I'm very grateful for that. But something that I've been watching happen in real time across our creative space over the last couple of years is something that I think every creative needs to understand and be given insight into right here, right now. So this is part 3 of a 6-part series called From Creative to Founder in the AI Era. If you haven't watched episode 1 and 2 yet, go back and check those out and you'll wanna start there. But today is where things start to get a little bit more urgent. So if you're feeling this pressure from this AI shift and you're not sure how to position yourself through it, DM me 33 on Instagram. That's exactly what the Hybrid Creative Sprint is built to help you solve. So here's what AI is actually replacing. It's replacing output and execution, but it lacks identity and it lacks actual work that has any philosophy behind it. This output has no voice and it's the kind of creative work that really could have been made by anybody. See, I've watched this play out in real time with my own clients and with myself in the past. People starting to ask questions about why they would ever pay a creative the rates that they have when AI can create it, put it out, and generate it in a few minutes. And the creatives that are holding their ground and digging their heels in through all of this are the ones that, let's not say they're the ones that are the most technically gifted. They're actually the ones that know deep down that there's meaning behind the creative process. They have a real perspective and they have a creative identity that took them a lot of time, years to build, backed by their experiences. See, that's something that no AI prompt can ever replicate. Your specific philosophy, why you create the way that you do, AI can't touch that. And the human element behind your work, AI can't touch that. And the under the surface meaning that makes someone look at what you made and actually feel something that they can't quite explain, AI can't touch that. What I'm trying to say is that AI cannot replicate anything that has actual sustenance to it based off your life and your lived experiences and your ability to move and learn through your own creative practice, to fail fast, to alchemize your failures into something that is more of a sound, specific, and authentic creative process. Cannot be replicated. And here's where I want to be direct with you about something that I've been noticing, and I want this to really sink in for you. So most creatives have actually been driven by the fact that their value is directly tied to their output. It's been tied to things like them being the most efficient and having the fastest turnaround for their clients. It's been tied to being able to give the best technical quality, and to things like creatives being able to offer the most deliverables at a competitive price. That was the game for a long time, and it worked. Creatives did really well in that game, but AI has completely turned the entire game on its head. So execution is now just some commodity. And the technical side of your craft, sadly, the thing that you spent years developing, AI can now do this faster, cheaper than you could ever deliver it. And that's just the reality of where we're at. But there's also some light at the end of the tunnel, because that doesn't mean that your skills, your talent, and your experience don't hold any weight anymore. What it actually means is that your skills alone are no longer enough to build a sustainable and successful creative business. The creatives that are pulling away from the wolf pack, the lone wolves, the apex creatives that are creating a huge gap between themselves and everybody else, they're the ones that have actually utilized their own unique perspectives, their own unique philosophies, and packaged it in a way so that everything they offer is backed by their lived experience and their expertise. Those are the type of creatives that when you look at their work, you can tell exactly why they created it the way they did. There's intentionality behind every part of their process, and you know why it matters to them and why it matters to their clients. These apex creatives, or what I like to call hybrid creatives, they're the ones whose creative process itself creates a magnetism. People want to be around them more and people want to learn from them. So that's what this moment is going to actually shine a light on. It's going to show that there's creatives out there who have a very clear, specific identity, and they have a unique philosophy that they can articulate, they can teach, and they can show their clients. There's also these founders out there who have actually built a brand around a genuine point of view because they actually wanted to help people and make the world a better place in some way, shape, or form. These individuals are actual people that can teach, they can lead, they can think strategically, they can think creatively. They're not just there to execute. See, these people whose work, they have a human story underneath all of it. And that creates a situation that AI can't touch it. AI can never manufacture what they do. Everything we've been talking about in this series, like around building your creative identity, developing a real philosophy around your creative work, and becoming a hybrid creative, this moment right here, right now, is actually gonna create a big gap in the field. It's creating more space than ever before. So what that means for you is if you've started to do this work, or if you're at a place where you're ready to start and you have some momentum, you're not behind and there's nothing that you should be fearing. You're actually exactly where you need to be, my friend. All right, so I really want you to hear this. If you take anything away from this video, anything at all, what I'm about to say next is what I want you to really walk away with. The harsh reality is that most creatives are actually frozen right now. They're sitting there watching what's happening with AI and they really don't know what to do. So instead of trying to figure it out, they just do nothing. And that paralysis is creating an actual gap in the market. But the creatives who are moving right now, who are doing what I like to call favoing, which is fucking around and finding out and solidifying their identity, and they have a simple system around their creativity, they're the ones who are taking leaps and bounds ahead of all the other creatives who are still just sitting there doing nothing, trying to figure out when's the right time to figure this out. There's less competition than ever right here, right now. The field is completely wide open and it's clearing. And the ones who have built something real underneath the work are the ones who are stepping into more open space, more opportunities, more clients, and living their life by design. They're the ones that are so far ahead that we haven't seen a separation like this in the industry in years. And here's the thing, waiting feels comfortable and it feels safe, but waiting is actually a bigger risk than moving right now. So the hybrid creative sprint is built specifically around navigating this shift the right way. Over 21 days, we'll work one-on-one together and I will guide you to build the identity and install a simple system that makes you more valuable, in more demand, and more magnetic right now than ever before. So just DM me 33 on Instagram and you can get on the early access list. I'm gonna open the doors up in May. There's only gonna be 7 spots. In this next episode, we're gonna get more into the practical side of things because I know that some of you are sitting there right now and this is some of the thoughts you're having. All right, Chris, all sounds good, super cool, I hear you, man. But how do I actually use these AI tools without losing my own authentic voice? And how do I even build a workflow that works for how I think as a creative and not how maybe a marketer Thanks. Got you. That's exactly what the next video is going to be about. We're gonna talk about a specific AI workflow that I teach inside the Sprint, as well as my other program. This is built specifically for creatives. It's not built for linear operators. So subscribe, I'll see you there.